In MySQL Improved, the query and real query methods handle only single queries. If you want to submit multiple queries in a single operation, you need to use the multi-query method. This is mysqli_multi.php, which you can find in the Chapter 7, 07_04 folder of the exercise files. We'll use this to execute 3 select queries in succession, and then loop through the results. To avoid a lot of repetitive typing, I'm going to paste in the code from query.txt, which you can find in the exercise files for this video. The new code needs to go after the database connection, so create a new line on line 4 and paste in the code. Line 4 defines an array with the names of 3 car manufacturers, and the rest of the code is a select query to get the minimum and maximum price for cars for the first manufacturer in the makes array. To submit several queries in succession, each query needs to be separated by a semicolon. So we need to put that semicolon just before this closing double quote here. So insert your cursor on line 7 between the single quote and double quote and type a semicolon. Then we need to select everything between the double quotes. So that's that semicolon there, and then right up to the word select, but not the double quotes, and then duplicate that twice. And just make things a little bit tidier, put the select beginning on a new line. And then we need to change the value of makes 0 in the second and third one. So this becomes makes 1. And this becomes makes 2. So what we're doing is we're submitting the same query 3 times, but getting the values from the array up here, Chrysler, Ford, and then Toyota. So we've got 3 select queries, and each one is separated by a semicolon. We can now submit that complete block of code using the multi-query method, and we'll do that down in the body of the page here on line 30 inside the else block. And we simply call the database object and its multi-query method, and we pass it the SQL. And this will submit all 3 queries as a single block, but the results won't be buffered. To get each result set, we need to create a do while loop. So let's put that on the next line. Do, then a block, and after the closing curly brace we need the while condition. And the while condition needs to check if there are any more results using the next result method of the database object. So while db and then next result. And inside the do while loop we deal with each result as it's retrieved. To get each result as we go through the loop, we need to call the store result method. So we'll create a variable to store the result and then call the database object and the store result method. This returns a MySQLi result object, so you can treat it in exactly the same way as if you were using query. In this example, each select query is going to return only 1 row, so we won't need an inner loop inside the do while loop, but we'll just use the fetch a sock method to get each row and then display the result. So row equals then the result object, fetch a sock, and we can then display the results. So we'll have a double quoted string, and we'll have an h2. Because we're using an array element, we need to put that inside curly braces, otherwise we'll get a nasty error. So row and then make, that closing curly brace, and then the closing h2 tag. And on the next line we'll create a paragraph. And we'll format the price using the number format function. So we need to pass that row min price. Then we concatenate some more text on the end to $, and format the next one, number format, row max price. Then we just need our closing paragraph tag. When we get to the end of the loop, we no longer require the result, So we'll free it using the free method. So result free. And this will now go through all of the results in turn and display them. So let's just save that and test it in a browser. And there are the results from the 3 queries that were submitted in one single operation. So let's just go back and review the code. If we go back up to the top, we have a single block of SQL with 3 queries in there, each of them separated by a semicolon. Then we submit it using the multi-query method of the database object, and then create a do-while loop. The while condition checks to see if there are any more results using the next result method of the database object. Inside the do-while loop, we store the result using the store result method, and then you handle it in exactly the same way as any other result set. But at the end of the loop, you free the memory associated with the result using the free method. In this example, the multi-query method has been used only with select statements, but you can use other SQL queries such as insert, update and delete, or even a mixture of different types. Just separate each query with a semicolon. And if only some queries are select statements, use a conditional statement inside the do-while loop to check whether store result produces a result set. One other important point: the multi-query method does not support prepared statements.